Coming to you from a studio somewhere out there. It's Enough Already Radio with Fingers Malloy and Tracy O'Connor.
And here we are once again. It's Enough Already. I'm Fingers Malloy. She's Tracy L. Connors. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Fingers.
Boy, I heard a lot of feedback from the last show. Mainly, where the hell have you been? It's nice to see you back. And then we decided to take, we had taken 3 months off.
Mm-hmm.
We did a show. And then we figured we'd take a couple weeks off.
Yeah.
It's quite a schedule. Exactly. So, since we've been gone, a couple of things. First off, your fighting Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl.
It's true.
And it was quite a spectacle in Philadelphia.
Of course.
Did you see the guy do the dance around the horse shit in the street before he stuck his face in it and ate horse crap to celebrate?
No.
You didn't watch that video? I sent it to you.
I know. You sent me that wonderful article. I think it was a Deadspin that had all the videos, and I read the description of that video. Man eats horse shit, and I thought, no, I don't need to see that.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yep.
And so once I sat through the whole video, naturally I had to share it with as many people as possible because misery loves company. I saw it at work on my phone, and I nearly threw up all over myself.
Yeah.
You know Philadelphia better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
You call it Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
I've only been there a couple of times. I mean, I was there in September, and I did walk down a street that smelled like raw sewage.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I enjoy Philadelphia. It's a fun place to eat, drink. But I don't really rub elbows with the fine folks of Philadelphia. Is this typical behavior when people celebrate? They go try to find some sort of animal excrement and consume it?
I think that's the first time I've ever seen that. I do think this gets a little bit blown out of proportion with Philadelphia for some reason, or they're like, oh, look at Philly. You see this stuff go on anytime teams win big championships. It happens at colleges. It happens in other cities, but they love to be like, oh, look at Philly. And I know Philly fans are bad. We booed Santa, throwing snowballs at Santa in the 70s?
Well, a couple of weeks ago,
the full beer cans.
Yeah, the full beer cans thrown at Philadelphia or at Minnesota Vikings fans. That's something I'd never seen before. No, other cities that people can be assholes. Mm-hmm. You're right. They still talk about the riots in Detroit after the Detroit Tigers won the World Series in '84. You know, burning down the city is one thing. But in all of my years, I live in Indianapolis. The Colts won a Super Bowl about 10, 12 years ago. I never saw anyone dance around a pile of horse poop and consume it in celebration of a Super Bowl victory. I've never seen that.
Here's the difference.
Huh?
Social media.
Okay.
Think about it.
So you're saying there's some corn-fed Indiana boy that ate horse poop the night the Colts won the Super Bowl?
No, I'm saying under the influence of knowing that your video could go hugely viral, what are people going to do? They're going to up the ante on their antics.
How would you have liked to have been, say, his wife or girlfriend, and he comes home and kisses you on the lips, and then the next day, you see what he had for dinner after the Super Bowl?
I would imagine he was hospitalized.
Had to have been, right?
I would think so. No, it depends on how much alcohol he'd already consumed, I guess.
That's a great story to tell the admittance nurse, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why aren't you feeling well, sir? Gosh, I don't know. We had a big party after the Super Bowl. Maybe it was something I ate. Oh, what did you have? Wings? Nachos? No, horse shit. Oh. Fill out this form. We'll see you in 3 hours. Wow. And then there was the Ritz Carlton. I don't know, the time you and I hung out in downtown Philadelphia, I stayed at like a Marriott or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming this Ritz Carlton was in downtown Philly.
Yeah, so it was right there. If you'll remember when we took you to Wawa so you could experience the magic.
Yes.
That Ritz Carlton is basically directly across the street from the Wawa we took you to.
Okay. And a bunch of Philadelphia Eagles fans decided to turn the awning over the front door of the Ritz Carlton into a trampoline. Mm-hmm. And you had the first guy got up there. He was the icebreaker. He was the guinea pig. If it would withstand him jumping up and down, then 30 other retards could get up there and jump up and down. So he gets up there first. He's doing like backflips and stuff. And then he stage dives off this awning, which had to have been 15 feet above the street. And I'm guessing they caught him because he would have died. Mm-hmm. So then folks see that and they're like, oh, cool. It's perfectly safe for us to get up on top of this awning. So then 30 people are like on top of this awning. Can you imagine that night if you were a guest at the Ritz Carlton? I mean, it's the Ritz freaking Carlton. Mm-hmm. Witnessing all of this. They had to have panicked. The people were probably barricading themselves in their rooms, thinking it was Armageddon. Like, oh my God, Buffy, you see what's going on downstairs? That's my Ritz Carlton guest imitation, by the way. Named Muffy.
Yes, of course.
You go to country clubs. Ever run into anyone named Muffy?
No.
No.
I have met a bunny and a Buffy.
So and then the whole thing collapses. So no, you're right. But I think the favorite video of mine in that BuzzFeed or Deadspin. I just want to claim it's BuzzFeed for some reason, but it was Deadspin. There was an engagement. Mm-hmm. Did you see that?
I did.
Guy gets down on one knee, pulls out a ring. The girl has a 40 of Old English in her hand.
Yes.
Doesn't put it down.
No. She's not going to drop that 40. She paid a whole 89 cents for that.
And, I mean, it's definitely a video that you would be proud to show your grandchildren one day.
Yes. Well, probably. You have no idea.
So, but did you watch the Super Bowl with a group of people? I mean, obviously you were rooting for the Eagles. I
watched the Super Bowl on my couch while reading a book. And I would unmute it to pay attention for a couple of minutes at a time. But then during the end, I put the book down and watched it uninterrupted.
Very happy that they won? I mean...
Yeah, I was excited. And, you know, I live in a city maybe 45, 50 miles northwest of Philly. Mm-hmm. I opened up my windows when they won, and I could hear people around here cheering. Fireworks were going off.
Fireworks or gunfire?
Fireworks. Mm. No, definitely fireworks. So it was people were here were excited. It's like, well, thank God they're probably not going to riot, at least where I am. And I'm on the third floor. I don't really care. What are they going to do?
Well, I didn't see the Super Bowl parade that they held the Thursday after the Super Bowl. Any problems that day?
No, I believe that there were 0 arrests that day related to the parade. Yeah.
I mean, some of the shit I saw, I was like, okay, I've seen the cars being turned over before.
Yes.
We've seen that. Someone bringing rope and tying it around a lamppost and playing tug of war with a lamppost, I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was
no.
You know, guys getting up on top of a traffic light. I've seen that. So, you know, there's some things I'd seen before, some things I hadn't seen before. But I think one of the favorite things about that whole Super Bowl celebration was the city going around and putting Crisco on the poles, trying to keep folks from climbing on them. It's like, I haven't seen that before either.
No, but it didn't work. They tried it for the national championship game, and that didn't work either.
Yeah.
So I was thinking they're going to have to put up spikes or something, or just let people do it. I mean, come on.
You're just going to have cheap breakaway lampposts in Philly that are made of plastic that cost like, you know, $38. And that's it. That's what you have from now on, because we can't have nice things.
No.
I don't remember all those. You know, there were people walking around carrying unusual stuff, like the lamppost that was torn down. People were just carrying it around. It's probably in someone's garage right now. Someone was carrying around a tree.
Yes, I saw that.
Like, who thinks of that? I got to get my Super Bowl tree.
Yeah.
But then there was a story. I mean, you have to pay. I didn't look this year to see what tickets for the Super Bowl were going for in the aftermarket. Mm-hmm. I mean, $5,000-$10,000 in a lot of cases. But when you have a Super Bowl in Minneapolis, you're not going to get that kind of demand because who the hell wants to go to Minneapolis in February?
No one.
Right. I mean, you have to be a diehard fan of the Eagles or the Patriots to want to fly to Minneapolis. And it was at one point, I think 2 days before the Super Bowl, I was listening to a radio broadcast. They said it was 3 below zero.
Mm-hmm.
No thanks.
And that's balmy though for them.
Yeah. So I didn't see the aftermarket costs of Super Bowl tickets, but I did see that there were a couple of Philadelphia Eagle fans who stole their seats from the stadium. And one was, you could actually see his seat. He had it attached to his carry-on luggage.
Wow.
And people were taking pictures of him and his luggage. So I'm sure they're going to track him down.
Well, you would imagine. They should. I hope they were smart enough not to steal their own seats.
What do you think the odds of that are?
Not very high. But that's only if they had bought their tickets. If they bought them aftermarket, nobody will know who the tickets really belong to unless they get the ticket agency who sold it, like StubHub or whatever, to give over the names.
Yeah. So that was entertaining. I know we should get to news and stuff, but I got to tell you one other story.
Okay.
I have a conference that I'm going to in a couple weeks. CPAC, you've been there before, obviously. People who listen to the show may not know what it is. It's like right-wing conference. It's held every year in Washington, D.C. I need new clothes, so I went shopping yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I'm a portly fellow. I'm tall.
Isn't there a store for men like you?
You see, that's where I'm headed. I went to the Big and Fat store yesterday.
Okay. Isn't it called Fat and Tall?
Big and Tall. Well, let's face it. It's just fat and tall. Tall and fat store. And I had never really gone to one of these stores before. Because usually I can find something at a regular department store, but it's getting to the point where it's getting harder and harder to do that. Gained a little weight. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, I'll go into the Big and Fat store.
Well, I appreciate that for men, it's just straight up big and fat. Because for women, they have all these names. The Lane Bryant is the chunkier ladies store.
Yeah.
So you don't have to feel so ashamed being like, yeah, I got this at fat ass you.
Well, see, I'm at a size. I wear, if I'm going to go buy a shirt, I'm 6'3", most of my height is in my torso. So I have to get a tall shirt. So I wear a 2X tall.
Okay.
So it's not like I'm going in looking for a 6X shirt. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's just a double extra large tall. It's damn near impossible to find these shirts. So I go into the Big and Fat store, the tall and fat store. And I'm in there with my daughter. She's 14. She's going to go along with me to make sure I don't pick something awful. Well, you walk in. They have not improved on big and tall clothing in 40 years. It's the worst looking shit you'll ever see. They may as well just put muumuus out there for people to wear. So I'm walking through, and they've got T-shirts. Mm-hmm. Superman, Batman. And I'm looking at this going, okay, here is a 7X T-shirt. 7 extra large. Superman.
Wow.
Do you think that's the wisest choice in fashion? I mean, if you're walking out of a Big and Fat store and you're a 7X and you're wearing a Superman shirt, people are going to look at you like, oh, wow, Superman really let himself go.
Yeah, he's supersized, man.
Yeah, that must be Superman's cousin who came from the planet Golden Corral. His kryptonite is Twinkies. And, fat guys, they like travel in packs. So, his buddy, his 6 extra large Batman shirt will be walking out too. His utility belt is a 5X. He's not Batman, he's Fat Man. Oh. It's like the worst. There's no way anyone, an adult male. Well, first of all, I don't know if an adult male should be wearing a Superman or Batman shirt to begin with, but if you're a 6 extra large, yeah, can you imagine walking up to the clerk and saying, "Do you have this in a 6X?" Superman.
I can't believe 6X is a thing.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I've encountered some of that going into a Harley dealership. Because that's where I usually get my clothes, at a Harley shop. I'll get Harley T-shirts. That's what I wear. And, I don't know if you've taken a look at the average Harley rider. But once they get in their 40s and 50s, you're wearing a 3X. You're getting kind of fat. So I'll look at the Harley stuff. Be 3X, 4X T-shirt. Wow, 4X. That's depressing. I
think my Mini Cooper could wear a 6X.
Well, why didn't you say so? I could have gotten it a Superman T-shirt. $38.
Oh my God. For a T. Well, I guess if it's that much fabric, yeah.
Yeah. So I looked at my daughter. I said, "We need to get the hell out of here, because this is, ridiculous." So I still don't have any clothes.
Oh. Try the internets.
It's hard for me to do that. I don't know how women do it at all. I don't know how you ladies buy clothes off the internet, because I've noticed this with, I took my daughter a couple of weeks ago to get jeans. If you're say you're a size 8 jeans. Oh, I just want a size 8. Well, what if you're a size 8 and you are 5'10"?
Then you have to get 8 longs.
But what's a long? Okay, well, it's longer, but I mean, with men, it's like, okay, I got a 40, 32. That's my waist, that's my inseam.
Right. Well, I don't know. The jeans that I wear are British, and so they come in a waist and a length.
Aren't you fancy?
So it's not like an 8. Well, I mean, they're made in Mexico, but they're from a British label, so it's like size 27, 34 length.
Yeah. See, now that makes sense to me.
Yes. It's easy to understand.
Yeah, but just, I need a 10 long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's supposed to fit someone who's 5'8" or 5'11"? What?
Yes.
Okay, just here you go.
Yeah.
Sorry about your luck.
Your daughter's lucky if I assume she's pretty tall.
She's 5'8" right now. Yeah, 14.
Yeah. So I'm 5'7", and was 5'7" from the time I was about 14 on. Mm-hmm. And they didn't make longs. So I had to suffer the embarrassment of wearing flood pants until lengths came along. No, I would rip the seams out of the bottom. And so I could get the extra length from that. Well, yeah, I hated that. It looks so bad. And there was no such thing as like low cut or, different waist heights at that time. So it's just a big old mess.
But you're 5'7".
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're 6'2".
I know, but I do have... my length is in my legs, unlike you. It's all torso.
Right.
Like I said, I wear a 34 length.
Wow. I'm 6'3", and I don't know where they consider your waist, but I wear 32s.
There you go, stumpy leg.
Yeah. So no, I don't know how people can buy. We'll call them slacks.
Okay, thanks. Dungarees.
I don't know. I don't know how people can buy slacks, sensible slacks, on the internet. I don't know how you can do it.
Well, what you have to do is get a brand like I have. I'm like, okay, I like this cut of this brand. I like the way they're cut. I know what the sizing is. So then I can buy them on the internet.
So you try them on at a store, and then you go home and you'll buy them on the internet.
Yes.
That's a little dirty, isn't it?
Well, no. I bought them over the years. So it wasn't like I didn't do that on purpose. It's just become a thing. I'm like, oh, okay. I need a new pair of these because they're wearing out. No, I'll just go buy them on the internet. But the best place to take her probably is somewhere like Nordstrom Rack, where they have a bunch of different labels that she could try on, find something that fits, and then just repetitively buy that.
Well, we ended up buying her jeans at American Eagle.
Okay, there you go.
And then we went across the street and we went to the Buckle. The Buckle.
Oh, Buckle's really good too. We used to have one, and then our mall flooded, and they decided they weren't going to build another one.
I just like saying the Buckle. It's fun to say. The Buckle.
Well, at the Buckle, they take a hell of a lot of time with you. They'll give you like 15 pairs of jeans.
They should. It's like $60, $70 for a pair of jeans.
Oh, that's cheap at the Buckle.
Oh, good God. I can't. It's hard for me to spend that kind of money on jeans knowing that a year from now she may not be wearing them.
Right. I can understand. Well, that's why she needs a job.
Yep, put her to work. 14. It's time.
Why not? I started working at 14, didn't you?
I started working at 15.
There you go. Summer job. Get it lined up now.
That's right. But no, the thing that's depressing about going shopping with her is just how old I feel going into stores like that.
Oh,
going into the Buckle. Yeah, or she dragged me into Spencer's and she dragged me into Hot Topic.
I still shop at Hot Topic. They have fun socks, and I really like fun socks.
Why can't you get fun socks on the internet?
No, they are hard to find on the internet.
Fun socks are hard to find on the internet?
Well, it's like I also want to feel the socks sometimes. There's a store at one of the malls called Sock It To Me that I very much like too. It's just all socks.
Yeah, no, a Hot Topic. I mean, the music is awful.
Oh, yeah, and everybody that's there, you're just like, how many... Did you guys lose contests or have a contest to see how many pins you could shove through your face? That's not going to look good when you're old.
Right.
Yeah, I remember talking to a guy that had the plugs in his ears that were big enough that I could fit 2 or 3 fingers through. I'm like, oh, those are never going to close up, huh? He's like, no. Oof, that's bad, dude.
It's going to be a really good look when you're 50.
Yeah, they're going to be hitting your shoulders.
Basically like balls, except on your ears.
On your ears. You could probably put a tennis ball in them.
At that point, you just have to have the surgery, right?
I guess so, or you just clip them, snip them off.
God, that's
make a video,
worst.
Put it on the internet.
Ugh, I have because I'm getting older, and I'm gonna try to not be too gross about this. I'm developing skin tags.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and they're terrible. And you talk about making a person look 10 years older than they are. Have them have skin tags on their neckline.
Oh.
So I tried doing the dental floss trick. Have you seen this?
No.
You tie dental floss tight around the skin tag, around the base, and it cuts off the blood flow to the skin tag, and then it eventually falls off.
Oh. This sounds like an attractive process.
Yeah, you look like a fucking retard walking around with dental floss. I'm walking by people and like, it smells minty around here. What is this? I'm like, oh. And I try to tuck my dental floss underneath my shirt so nobody can see it.
Yeah, doing a little self-surgery.
Yeah. So one fell off. The other two are still here, and I've given up. That's probably the worst thing you could possibly do. If there's I know we have a lot of dermatologists who listen to this show.
Yes.
So I'm sure they're completely disgusted that I did this method of trying to remove my skin tag. But I saw it on the internet, so it has to work.
Well, you said one of them fell off.
Yeah, one of them did.
Do you know where you were when it fell off?
No.
Oh, fun.
Well, I untied the... I thought that, some of these people, they keep the dental floss tied around the skin tag until it falls off. That just seemed absurd to me. So I had it... The floss tied around the skin tag overnight, but then I untied it. I was like, okay, if the stupid skin tag... it has been choked off, has no blood going into it for 12 hours, you would think that would kill it. You would think, right? You're a doctor.
Yeah.
So, well, I feel like this podcast has gotten off to a smashing start. Talking about my old man skin tags and that I'm going into big and tall stores to buy my clothing. So there's that. How have you been?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I find it impressive that you've been shopping for jeans all these years and you can buy the same size.
Well, thank you.
I'm like Oprah. I get fat, I lose weight. I won't say I get thin, but fat, lose weight, fat, lose weight. It's a yo-yo. Your misconsistency over here, you can just order your jeans from the British Mexicans and they come and they fit. Good for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
What's your secret?
Don't eat so much.
Oh. Put down the fork.
Yeah.
Damn. So there's been a lot going on in the news.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of unplugged from everything because it's nothing but the important stuff nobody wants to talk about.
Right.
Everyone just wants to shout about things that aren't important and be outraged over things that aren't important. So I just kind of like getting on YouTube and watching my slot machine channels. Which are outstanding. I think I'm going to start a gambling podcast.
Okay. What you could do is just comment on those videos.
Like a Mystery Science 3000?
Yeah. Write to the guys and say, hey, do I have permission to do some voiceover on your video so I can critique your style, your way of play?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, why not? It's less work than they're putting in.
And then someone can come along and ask for permission for my videos to critique my critique.
Yes.
Of the slot machine videos. There's this one guy, it's unbelievable to me. One guy's got 64,000 subscribers to his podcast or his slot channels. Mm-hmm. And he's marketing his catchphrases like crazy. Like he says things are delicious all the time. He goes, he hits a big jackpot. He goes, that's delicious. Or if the slot machine isn't paying off, after he hits a button, it doesn't pay off, he'll say rude. And so now he's selling T-shirts that say rude and delicious on them, and he's selling hats and poker chips, and he's got a whole fan pack where you can get all this stuff for a certain price. And there's this other guy that runs around. He's a huge high roller. And he's playing $60, $100 a pull in the high roller area. And he's got a film crew, Tracy. He's got 6 people involved in the production of these videos. It's amazing. And he's gotten to the point now where you could tell that the casinos are partially sponsoring this. Mm. Or at least asking for him to highlight the property as part of giving him permission to film in the casino. Because as you know, it wasn't too long ago, when you were in Vegas, you were working in Vegas, mm-hmm. They did not want you to take a photo in a casino. Especially around the sports books. They're still antsy about that. But this guy's just rolling around, taking video at the casino. But this guy, the casino's emblem is at the bottom corner of his videos now. Mm. It's like, why didn't we get in on this, Tracy? We could have had a slot club channel where, I would go into the casino and film myself gambling, and you could be hanging out at the casino bar. Why didn't we think of this?
I don't know.
They do a lot. The one guy, the rude guy, the delicious guy, mm-hmm. I swear 60% of his videos are from the Cosmopolitan in Vegas.
My favorite.
The big old chandelier bar.
Oh, yeah, Elton John's living room.
Yeah. Always late to the party. So I've unplugged. I'm watching these slot club videos. I'm seeing cat videos on the internet. You were looking for stories earlier today. I tried to. It's like, oh, great, we're outraged over another tweet by the president. That's the latest.
Yes, that's the most important thing going on in all of news.
Yeah. Or the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Do you care about the Olympics?
I used to care about the Olympics. It was fun, and I thought about watching the opening ceremonies because I always kind of enjoy that. Just because, I don't know, I have this sick thing where I want to remember every name of every country in the world.
Yeah.
And there's a website called sporkle.com that has all these quizzes. So usually like every 6 months, I'll take their geography quiz, which is countries of the world. It's one of their many quizzes, and see if I can break 100 consistently. And now I'm getting to the point where I can break 120. But the opening ceremonies help a lot with that. Although the Winter Olympics is not as many countries participating. You don't see many Ugandan skiers.
Right. I just can't stand to me, especially the Winter Olympics, it's packaged for women. It's not for men. I mean, here's my example of I'll turn on the Olympics for 5 minutes, the Winter Olympics. And this is every Winter Olympics in the last 40 years. It's they'll have a little human interest story, like little Amanda Sirkranovich.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Started having Olympic dreams back when she was 3 years old, living in her native Caspiar. At the age of 9, her mother took her on horseback to train. That 4-hour daily commute on Sprinkles the horse was tough, but she wasn't deterred. Even in her wildest dreams, she never could have imagined that little girl from Caspiar would grow up to help her country win its first Olympic medal in women's bobsledding. Oh my God. Who gives a shit?
Well, see, I find those stories touching. I always like it when some little podunk country wins a medal and everybody goes nuts. They probably tip cars and eat horse shit.
In Caspiar?
Maybe. And I don't know if I've ever told you this. There was 1996 when the Summer Olympics were in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I was in Spain.
Okay.
With the high school.
You're a world traveler. You've been everywhere.
Well, it was for high school Spanish credit.
Okay.
There was a group of us that went to Spain. So what most Americans don't realize is that the world doesn't revolve around us.
All right.
So we weren't seeing any events with Americans. The biggest events where the Spanish had chances were speed walking. I kid you not. And judo.
Oh, God.
So it was all, and they of course, they don't pronounce J's the way that we do. So it's judo.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, more judo coming up. I'm like, oh, great. I mean, I find judo to be entertaining, but the speed walking, and it's like marathon length speed walks, and you get penalized. You can break into a jog like 3 times before you're disqualified. And
I was going to say, how do you regulate a speed walk versus a jog?
Yeah, I don't know. They have judges. But it was bizarre. I'm like, wait, you can be an Olympic speed walker? And I had dreams of being involved in some of the sports that have involved no kind of athletic skills. Not that I'm not athletic, but I'm lazy. So I'm like, ooh, archery. I could do that one. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. Gina Davis was an Olympic archer, the actress Gina Davis. I think she might have actually medaled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just practice. And then I like in the winter games, there's the biathlon that they do, which is cross country skiing and shooting. Mm-hmm. Which seems like a very strange sport.
Yes.
But I assume it's from some military. That's where it comes from.
Odd side note for Gina Davis, she wears a long jeans.
Oh, yes, she does. She's a tall one. She's very tall.
But it amazes me you bring up sports like speed walking. The fact that that's an Olympic sport, yet they've eliminated over the years. At one point, they didn't have golf as an Olympic sport.
Well, they took baseball out, right?
Yeah. I mean, I get that more people walk than play baseball. I understand that. But competitive walking?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. Baseball is played all throughout North America and South America. The Japanese love it.
Yep.
So, I don't know. But I don't know. I was just trying to figure out if the hockey is like the only thing that I really like in the Winter Olympics. Mm-hmm. Some of the skiing is okay.
You don't like figure skating?
No.
No.
Ugh.
I like that combat. I like that combat figure skating they had, a couple decades ago, where women would come out onto the ice with like a lead pipe and beat the hell out of their opponent. That was fun.
The roller derby.
Why they stopped that?
Roller derby, speed skating.
Yes.
Yeah, the speed skating is kind of cool, but not the one that goes on forever.
Oh,
give me one loop around.
Have you watched that Tonya Harding movie yet?
No, but I've heard really good things about it.
I'm a little troubled, and by little troubled, I mean I really don't give a shit at the end. But they seem to be making Tonya Harding a victim in Hollywood.
Oh, of course.
Because she had a rough childhood.
Oh, okay. That seems fair enough.
I mean, poor Nancy Kerrigan.
Oh.
I still hear the cries at night.
Aw, why? Why?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we opted not to send professional hockey players.
Oh, okay. So we're looking to get our asses kicked.
Potentially. Yeah, it's all a bunch of college guys.
Now, did they, at one point I thought I had read that they banned Russia from being in the Olympics.
Oh?
I don't know if they took that back.
Huh. Nope. They're in there. I don't know.
I'm reading, I'm not going to read the whole piece, but from NPR, December 5th, 2017. Russia is banned from 2018 Olympics. Athletes told to compete. That doesn't make any sense. What kind of headline is that? So the you can compete? They're competing under the Olympic flag.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the Russians were trying to get around doping rules. Shocker!
I let them dope. I want to see the best athletes all drugged up.
Yes! Who cares?
It's like Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. Let them do it. Barry Bonds, too. Come on. I want to see home runs.
Don't you realize, Tracy, they're a bad influence on the children?
Of course.
It's all about the children.
Yeah.
So I got yelled at on Facebook for saying, is the Olympics over yet?
It just started.
Yeah. I was told I was fitting into the typical conservative stereotype that we hate stuff like that, and that's the reason why.
I don't think that's a typical conservative stereotype at all.
I didn't think so either.
Not hating the Olympics.
USA.
Right.
I'm sorry, they packaged the Olympic broadcast and tailor it to women.
Yeah, it's a Hallmark Channel thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, it's all these human interest stories, and you're just like, no, let me see judo again.
And I can sit through the human interest stories if it's football. I'm not going to like it, but if it's a sport that I like. But I'm not going to sit through 45 minutes of a human interest story to watch the luge.
Or the ice dancers.
Yes, don't care.
No. I hear ya.
I mean, figure skating legs on a woman, it's towards the top of the hierarchy of hot athletic chick legs. But the problem is, when you're watching, you never know if it's a 21-year-old or a 15-year-old, and that's just dirty. You can't be watching a figure skater going, oh, wow, she's cute. Look, cute figure skating legs. And they're like, that was 15-year-old Malinka Laginkovic. And you're like, oh, I'm a pervert.
Yeah, sorry.
Womp womp. So I just don't watch figure skating. Who wants to watch figure skating anyway?
My mom, my grandmom.
I can associate with football. I played football. I played basketball. I played baseball. I never strapped on a pair of ice skates and said, let's dance. I can't relate to it. Do you relate to that stuff?
No, and I don't think it's a sport.
No.
I don't think anything that involves judges,
Right.
subjective measurements is not a sport.
I also don't think it's a sport if you can compete into your 60s.
Well, that makes golf not a sport.
I don't think golf is a sport.
Okay.
I think golf is an activity that you keep score, like darts. NASCAR's not a sport.
Okay.
If I think Richard Petty was driving until he was 74 years old, and I think he's 73 right now. But no, Dale Earnhardt was driving into his 50s before he kicked the bucket.
Oh, he didn't kick the bucket; he hit the wall.
Well, yeah. I just don't think it's like bowling. And direct all of your hate tweets to me at Fingers More.
Well, I've always said, like, anything that you can do like that, where you can be drunk and do it, not a sport.
Right.
Pool, darts, bowling, golf.
And I love golf. This may surprise a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Back before I had kids, I was golfing every week. And got to be pretty good. I'd never had Olympic dreams, though. But I got to be pretty good. And then the kids came and they're
Did you
golfing.
dream of being the subject of an Olympic story, though?
No, I did not. Oh, but I don't have any interest in watching the Olympics at all, and yet I was told I'm feeding into the stereotype that conservatives are not
That's
interested
not.
in stuff like that.
You should have told them that's not a stereotype.
In their head, it is.
I guess so. And why do they care what you do?
I don't know. Apparently, you're not allowed to. I threw that opinion out there on Facebook. I thought that's what we did on Facebook. I know you're not on Facebook anymore, but everybody's going on and on about the Winter Olympics, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's already starting. Is it over?
Mm-hmm.
It's like 9 hours nonstop. Oh my god, I can't believe the Olympics are. This is great. The Olympics, and like you said, most of the sports are garbage. You're gonna tune in. And I know this isn't the time of year. It's probably the Summer Olympics, I would think. You're going to tune in for speed walking?
Yeah, that's summer.
You're going to tune in for judo? I mean, I can watch curling for maybe 10 minutes before I get bored.
Yeah, that is not a sport either. See,
No.
drinking.
That's like shuffleboard at the
Yeah, it's
bar.
shuffleboard on ice.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I love playing shuffleboard on the shuffleboard table at a bar.
No, I think I would
fun.
enjoy going and doing curling because I think it's so silly.
Yeah.
You have a broom. What the hell?
Yeah. You're ice janitors. That's not a sport.
No, it's not. I don't think luge is either. It's just sledding.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yes.
I mean, those people are going like 100 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
But I've gone, 90 miles an hour on the freeway. That's not a sport. Driving. I don't know. And it's 2 weeks of this crap, and the network spends a ridiculous amount of money for the rights to broadcast these games. So they cram it down your throat. Many of the sports are complete garbage. People are. Do you think that there's a certain segment of the population that pretends to like the stuff, but they really don't?
Mm-hmm.
They got to throw it out there on social media. Oh, I'm so excited! Curling's coming on next. Really? If there were an American curling league, do you think these people would show up to watch it?
No, I'm sure there is.
Now I gotta look that up. Is there an American curling league?
Well, there are curling clubs all over the place. I looked last Winter Olympics when that was around. I was like, oh, that looks like something I could do on a Friday night instead of going bowling. Because I bowl every Friday night, as everyone knows. No, I think I quit bowling when they quit letting people smoke in bowling alleys.
That was it for you?
Yep.
I just can't handle renting shoes.
Oh.
And then they spray Lysol in them like that's going to do anything
Yeah.
for the next person. I mean, I know it's not a big deal for women, and that's what grosses me out. Women seem to have no problem loaning out their shoes to other women. Oh, I love those shoes. Can I try them on? Can I wear them this weekend? Oh, sure, no problem. Ew, really? And especially if they're a shoe that it's like a high heel or something to where there's no sock.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, hole.
What do you think you're going to catch through your feet?
Well,
stumped you.
Well, no, let me ask you this. Have you ever showered in a gym before?
No, I don't think so. Oh, maybe I have.
Weren't you grossed out by walking in the shower?
Well, I wouldn't do it. I had flip-flops that I would wear, shower shoes, like at camp and stuff like that.
Well, why would you wear them? What are you going to catch through your feet?
Oh, good point. Fine.
Or how about when you go on a plane and you see some weirdo take their shoes off on the plane? I've seen that. Gross. Or I think I sent you a video a couple of months ago where a woman she put her fingers in between her toes. Mm-hmm. Like she was locking her fingers in between her toes. And I thought, how? And then she's going to like go to the bathroom and put her foot hand with foot debris all over it onto everything in the bathroom, and then you're going to go in afterwards. And then you're going to have her foot debris all over you. Toe jam and all. It's gross. People are animals.
Yes.
Stop loaning out your shoes, Tracy.
Okay.
That's why I stopped bowling. Because then you don't want to be that guy that has his own shoes that you're taking to the bowling alley.
Why not?
Do you want to be that guy? I've got my own ball and shoes to take it with me to the bowling alley.
Well, if you're a serious bowler. I mean, you're not more grossed out about sticking your fingers in the balls?
Oh, great.
Or had that not occurred to you?
Now you're ruining bowling for me.
You can get a glove.
Oh, then you're the guy that wears a glove while you bowl. There was a time I was a bartender in the early 90s, and darts were becoming a big thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm ashamed to admit this, but I would bring my own darts to play darts with my friends.
Okay.
How embarrassing is that? I was the guy that brought his own darts to the bowling alley. Or to the bar. You don't want to be that guy.
Did you have them in a little case?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I quite like darts.
It's fun, but just use the bar darts. Don't be the guy that brings his own darts. It was like a couple months ago. I'd stopped getting NFL Sunday ticket, so I had to go to the bar to watch the Lions play here in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. I went to the bar to watch them play, and this guy walks in, and he's all by himself. He walks over to the pool table, and he's got his little case. He opens up. He's got two, not just one, two different pool cues he brought with him.
Oh.
To shoot pool all by himself. He was practicing. So
sure.
He played, 10, 11 games by himself while he was sipping on a beer. And then he packed up his pool cues and walked out the door.
And you think this is ridiculous?
Yes.
I don't know. Bar pool cues can be pretty warped and bad. So if you're serious.
But what are you serious? Oh, okay. You're a pool hustler now? Okay.
It's an intimidation tactic.
Oh, I see.
Yep. I've got my own cue. 2 of them, to be exact.
And he had a glove.
Nice.
I looked at him. I thought, you must be fun at parties.
Wow.
Must spend 45 minutes telling everyone about how well he can shoot pool.
Probably.
There's news?
Yeah, there's some news.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I did find a little interesting nugget that I think our listeners might find interesting, because I did, and this got dropped a couple days ago. Secretary Mattis is now admitting that there was no evidence Assad used poison gas on his own people. And this is a Newsweek headline.
Okay, so this is not something from a conspiracy theory website.
Correct.
This is Newsweek.
This is Newsweek. Yes. So if everyone will remember, what was it, April of last year? Pretty soon after Trump took office, we were told there was a sarin gas attack perpetrated by the Assad regime on his own people. And this is following in the wake of what we were told in 2013 was also a sarin gas attack on his people. And I remember we talked about this at the time because I was reading a bunch of other sources that were like, we don't believe this. And for a variety of reasons, and they put forth compelling cases. But Trump went ahead and sent Tomahawk missiles at an airbase in Syria as a retaliatory strike. And if anything in Michael Wolff's book is to be believed, I kind of believe, that's the Fire and Fury book that we talked about last time, that when this happened, Trump didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to retaliate. But Ivanka, and I believe it was Dina Powell, got in his ear and showed him the photographs of children, dead children. And that got him upset enough that he's like, let's send the missiles, which is so gross and manipulative and disgusting. And God forbid we actually make sure.
No, we have to have a response immediately, Tracy.
Yeah. Immediate response, or we look weak, instead of saying, no, let's really get to the bottom of this. It seems kind of suspect. And if I can dig it up, I will put it up with some show notes today that shows that some professor or ex-military guy had broken this all down, showing the photographs of what were supposed to be the canisters that delivered this. And they were supposed to be on warhead tips or something like this. And he's just like, no. And if this is what the delivery method was, it wouldn't have dispersed the way they said, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Mattis was out saying that we still don't have proof that that's what happened, that there's no evidence that it was the Syrian government that used the banned nerve agent against its own people.
I've got a shitty memory, but what I do remember back then is if you had questions about whether that is how the whole thing went down, if you were making statements that maybe Assad was not responsible for these attacks, people were marginalizing people that were making that argument.
Oh, absolutely.
Almost like you were defending Assad like he's some sort of stellar cat. When I think everyone can admit that Assad's a dirtbag. But just because he's a dirtbag, that doesn't mean that everything that happens there, it's because of Assad. Right.
No, and this plays into we talked about this throughout the 2016 election cycle, that Hillary Clinton was pretty dead set on us going to war with Russia.
Yeah.
And that the way that manifesting was, she says, we need a no-fly zone in Syria. Okay, well, who's flying in Syria right now? Oh, the Russians. So if we institute a no-fly zone, you're saying we're going to shoot down Russian planes.
Yeah, if you are going to, look, Democrats are very fond of empty rhetoric. There are red lines that who really gives a shit about the red line? You're saying that you have a red line. So I guess as a Democrat, you can claim that you're going to have a no-fly zone, but then not enforce it. But
potentially, but
if you're putting your nuts on the table and saying we're going to have a no-fly zone, and the Russians are the ones flying in that no-fly zone, you got to be prepared to shoot those Russian planes down, and that's going to start a war.
And to be fair, Rubio was calling for the same thing. So, taking that into account, and then remembering that Putin is aligned with Assad right now, putting out a story about them gassing their own people makes both of those parties look bad, Assad and Putin, which is what they want. They still want war. We've got to ramp it up. We have ramped up in Afghanistan again, which is a horrible mistake. We've still got troops in Iraq. We've got troops in Syria. We've got troops all over the damn place. We're helping the Saudis kill the Yemenis and starve them to death. So it's gross. But when this happened, you are absolutely right. Anybody that was saying, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. The rebels are losing ground like crazy in Syria. Assad has already been warned because of the 2013 attack, which I don't believe he perpetrated either, about this. President Trump has just come into office, and he's talking hard line as far as what he's going to do with red lines and stuff like this. You're telling me that this is a good time? How does that strategically make any sense?
It doesn't.
Right. So just on the face of it. But no, we have to make a decision. Ivanka comes in, shows him some dead kids, which is sad, of course. then we're going to launch Tomahawk missiles. And now you've got Mattis saying, we don't have any proof. We have no evidence.
See, and wouldn't it have been nice to come out with that report and not have sent those missiles over there?
It would have been. And it's just strange that why is he speaking up now?
It's a good question. How long has he known that?
Right. I mean, did he know at the time? They had to have, that there wasn't evidence. They were saying, a lot of the reports were coming from aid groups that were on the ground, but also in the stuff that I was reading at the time, they're showing photographs of these aid workers cleaning up, and they're not even wearing suits that would have protected them against sarin to begin with.
So why does it come out now?
Right.
See,
I don't know.
About a leak?
I don't know. Or is he worried that they're going to ramp up again? Because they in this article in Newsweek, I think it's in the Newsweek article because I read a couple, they're saying there have been some potential chlorine gas attacks in recent weeks that they think Assad is responsible for. And so I don't know if Mattis is warning, like, hey, the guys that really want war are still putting out lies because they want to get more troops on the ground over there. I don't know
how you could want a conventional war with Russia because eventually it won't be conventional anymore.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you want war with anybody.
Well, I get that.
Honestly.
But why would you want a war with Russia? At some point, the nukes are going to be brought out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, oops, sorry about those tomahawks.
Well, there's other news, but do you want to talk about it?
Well,
we've been at it for an hour.
I know.
You believe that? And I think we've covered a lot of ground. I mean, are people coming to the Enough Already podcast, though, to listen to news being analyzed? And it seems to me they're coming for the fun.
Sure.
The fun, Tracy. Isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah. Potentially, but you can let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Tweet me at Fingers Malloy. Tracy, I know you've backed away from Facebook. Do you look at your Twitter?
I look at Twitter every day.
Okay.
All the time. It's the best place to find news. That's how I found that Newsweek story. I'm like, there's other stuff going on in the world besides this continuous debate about memos coming out of the House.
Yeah, I'm really glad that the fiscal conservatives, too, came out with their budget.
What a joke.
Now we just need more Republicans, Tracy.
Of course.
Give us the House, and we'll straighten things out. Oh, now that we really need the Senate. Oh, you know what? We can't just have a House and the Senate. We need the White House, too. And then they come out with this garbage.
Oh, it's absolutely pathetic. They don't care. You need to clean out both parties.
Yep.
Or just vote for a third party if one could get their act together. But it sounds like the Libertarian Party has no plan to go forward. I don't know if you would have heard about this, but there is a splinter caucus, I guess you could call it, within the Libertarian Party called the Mises Caucus.
No.
Okay. So are you familiar with Mises?
Yes.
Okay. So those guys were like, hey, we kind of like to get back to these ideas. And because they thought that the Libertarian Party itself was going and picking establishment Republicans like Bill Weld and Gary Johnson to run things. And then a lot of the party was also trying to suck up to the left, which you and I know is both a losing game. Like, You're never going to win. So they were like, all right, let's just get back to some basic things. And they got Ron Paul and Judge Napolitano to agree to come and speak at the Libertarian Convention. The Libertarian Party said, no, we don't want them.
Okay.
Yeah. No, thanks.
Well, wasn't there a controversy in the Libertarian Party here a few weeks ago where one of the higher-ups in the party made some remarks about sex with a 14-year-old?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, now I'm going to have to look that up. And there was it was something about there was someone in the Libertarian Party that was questioning the age of consent laws in America.
Mm-hmm.
And made some remarks. I won't get into it because I don't have the article in front of me, but something about having empathy. Oh, okay, Larry Sharp, Libertarian candidate for governor of New York, quits. This was from February 7th of this year. Larry Sharp, Libertarian candidate for governor of New York, quits the party's national committee. Controversy over LNC vice chair Arvin Vohra's comments on veterans' age of consent laws makes Sharp realize he doesn't belong to the National Party. Vohra? Is that how you pronounce his name? Do you know much about the higher-ups in the Libertarian Party?
No.
He made some remarks on Facebook. He said, if a 14-year-old has a kid, I would prefer the other person to be an adult with a job.
Okay.
Status logic, teenagers cannot consent to sex. It is totally okay to force teenagers into useless government schools against their wills. Government schools do 1,000 times more damage to teenagers than consensually dating adults ever possibly could.
Okay. This was well thought through.
So that was the latest. When you're making comments like that, okay, when we're having these discussions, I don't know how you can make comments like that and think we, as a party, if that person is not escorted out, we can grow this into a national movement and make it a mainstream party. Mm-hmm. I mean, because there are some ideas that, if they may well be thought out, but if you throw that out there, and I'm not saying this is one of them, but it seems too radical to be mainstream.
Of course.
I think that's between that and libertarians have the worst litmus test of anyone I've ever seen. I mean, you could agree with a libertarian 95% of the time, but if you don't agree with them on one thing, you're not a libertarian.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. You can't speak at our party convention.
Yeah. It's one of the problems. So I don't have much faith that they'll get their act together and constitute like a third viable alternative.
So we're screwed.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, the whole thing will just go bankrupt eventually.
Yeah, but the question is, when will it go bankrupt? Will it be a $40 trillion debt?
Yeah, I don't really know.
$100 trillion debt?
Right. I mean, they're talking about we'll continue to see $1 trillion deficits every year, and then tack on another 10 or another 1 trillion for this tax cut, which I don't believe to be the case.
Right.
I don't think that'll actually happen with employment going down or unemployment going down really low and expansion and all this stuff. You'll have more people paying into it. And last time there was a dramatic tax cut, the government actually took in more. And I can't remember. I think it's Laffer that had put out. He had done this analysis over time to show that basically the government only no matter where the tax rates sit, they collect about 18% of GDP. So if GDP grows, then you could still see the same amount of revenue coming into the government.
Well, revenue doubled in the 80s after Reagan cut taxes.
Yeah. So
I don't buy into this tax cut is going to cost $1 trillion. And the way that they frame the argument is obscene to begin with.
Yeah. It doesn't cost them anything.
Right.
They get to steal less. That's all it is. It's like if I went to go steal your wallet and you had 5 20s in there and I was like, and you're like, just let me keep one. I'm like, well, then I've got, as the thief over here, I'm spending money now. It's a cut to me. Get out of here. You get to steal less. But they'll end up stealing the same. They just steal from different people in different amounts. But have you seen the effect of the tax cut in your paycheck?
Finally, yes. It was weird. I get paid weekly.
Mm-hmm. So do I.
And the first week I saw people running to social media saying that they got their tax break. My taxes actually went up $3.
Oh.
And I can't figure out why they would. I mean, even I paid a little bit more in Social Security tax, and that's not supposed to go up at all. So I was miffed seeing everybody else saying, I got a tax cut, I got a tax cut, I got a tax. Well, it finally kicked in the first week of February. And
okay.
I'm bringing home an extra $30 a week.
Oh, crumbs.
I looked at it, I was like, that's fantastic. I mean, that right there will, and unfortunately, this is how I think, that'll pay my property taxes.
Right.
So, my property taxes are taken care of with this tax cut. But,
well, it gives you an extra $1,500 a year.
Yeah. Cell phone bill, gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Thank you. I wish, and I hate that I have to thank the government for letting me keep more of my money.
I know.
But thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in there too, around 30-something a week.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah, I'd like more. Because I get stolen from by the federal government, the state government, and then the local city government.
I'm in Indiana. I can't imagine what they get you for in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania state taxes, I think 3.07%. But this was what really pissed me off. So I'm in sales, and I get a salary, but I get a bonus, commission. And so I was going to get a fairly decent commission for the first quarter of last year. Our quarters are run differently than the government's quarters. Mm-hmm. So I got my commission check in January before the tax things went through. Not that probably would have had much of a difference, because the way that they deal with it, God forbid we get smart enough to be like, oh, this is a bonus. This is not Tracy's weekly paycheck. So she's not getting this every week for the next 52 weeks. And so, but that's how they think of it. So let's just say that my bonus would have been $8,000 if no money was taken away. Guess how much I get to go home with?
Oh, an $8,000 bonus between federal, state, and local taxes.
And city.
I would say you'd be lucky to bring home $4,700.
It was around there. I think it was 42.
Ugh.
And so I'll get it all back, of course. But they look at that and say, oh, she's going to make $8,000 a week for the next 52 weeks. This is how it all works, And it's like, no, I'm not. So they, stole 50% of it.
Yeah, you're seeing these one-time bonuses, and I'm in the automotive industry, and you see these profit-sharing checks that some of these workers are getting, and it's only 1 week. They should have some sort of way you can, and I'm sure that they actually do. You can exempt yourself from taxes for 1 week. But it shouldn't be that big of a pain in the ass to do it.
No, and you should be able to say, hey, this is a bonus. It should be taxed at this instead of this.
Right.
No. So I went and I talked to, the accountant at work and also our HR person about it. I'm like, next time I want this split up over several paychecks. And they agree with me. I mean, everybody that I work with is on the right team of all of this stuff, where they're like, no, don't let the government sit on your money for a year and give it back to you. It's like, okay, how do we beat the system? Divide this stuff up. But I was furious. And that reminds me, I wish I remembered where I saw this article. One of the mainstream sites, I don't know if it was CNN or something like that. They had interviewed a bunch of people about them now getting more money in their checks or getting a bonus. And of course, the first person they interview is this surly gentleman that's very pissed that he's only getting $30 more. And I think he works part-time at Home Depot and somewhere else as well. And he was saying, oh, they got a bonus. And it was like $150. And I only got to keep like 75 of it after taxes. So what the hell good is that? And it's like, okay, dude, I still hate Trump. F that guy. People are so ungrateful, and they can't put it together. Like, Trump's not keeping that money from you. First of all, nobody had to give you a bonus, right? Home Depot didn't have to hand out bonuses to anybody. And then you're pissed because it's $150 and you get to see 75 of it or whatever it was. That's the government stealing from you. Get mad at them. But that idiot will go and vote Democrat.
And then wonder why next time he gets a bonus like that, he'll only get to keep 60 of them.
Right. But he agrees with Nancy Pelosi and her ridiculous, that's just crumb stuff.
Right.
I'm sorry, an extra $1,500 a year is not crumbs. It shouldn't be crumbs to anybody.
Oh, it's crumbs to her.
Well, yeah, maybe.
But my gosh, especially I'm in Indiana in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
$1,500 goes a long way in Indiana.
Yeah. Well, it can go a long way anywhere if you're smart about how you spend your money.
That's true.
That's a couple weeks worth of groceries.
Think of the extra happy hours I could go to.
I know. Well, like $30, that's 2 bottles of wine a week. It's one of my drinking nights taken care of.
Oh, good Lord. What do you think? Wrap this up?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Remember, you can find the Enough Already podcast on TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You should leave a review for us on iTunes. Let us know how we're doing. Preferably a 5-star review, Tracy.
Yes, please.
And we have a website that we ignore.
I've just added last episode to it today.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did that because a friend of mine hosts a wonderful podcast called Zumar's Amazing Podcast. Mm-hmm. And he had me on as a guest to talk about movies because that's what it's about.
Nice. Where can you find his podcast?
You can find that on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn. It's called Zoomar, Zoomar, Amazing Podcast. So Zoomar is the guy that invented the zoom lens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's a pretty knowledgeable guy. So I did 2 episodes with him. The first one came out this week, and it's about Oscar nominees and then me trashing the Academy.
Nice. Well, check that out. And I do a podcast called The Snark Factor. You can see that in the same places too. iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. We actually get that out once a week. And by once a week, I mean I ignore it for 3 weeks and then put 3 episodes out. That's how I roll. So, all right. Well, thanks for listening. I'm Fingers Malloy. Follow me on Twitter at Fingers Malloy. She's Tracy L. Connors. Follow her at Tracy L. Connors. And we'll be back soon with another Enough Already podcast.